That's a method of voting that doesn't advantage one group or another. There's danger involved in drop boxes. People need to think about it. Okay, imagine someone decides, oh, there's a drop box. I'm just going to put some explosive in it and blow it up and burn all of those ballots, and now those votes don't count at all. Okay, there is something with elections. There are two things that are very important. Number one, the count has to be accurate. The votes have to be counted accurately. But the other is there has to be public confidence. The public has to believe that the elections were fair.
Okay. So the idea that we should not allow ballot drop-off locations because they could be blown up is dumb enough that we shouldn't have to really address it. If you want to follow that logic, lots of things can be blown up. Lots of places can be blown up. We still go on with our lives, despite the fact that explosives exist in the world, Marco. But to then turn and say, and it's important that people have confidence in the voting system when his party has done nothing but try to reduce confidence in perfectly legitimate elections. He literally said, you can't trust these things because they might get blown up. And it's really important that you have confidence in our system, but not part of the system after all, not the parts that might be blown up someday. This is their strategy. This is their strategy. It is not to run on a platform and to get someone to be really hyped about what potential change they can bring to the country, the problems they can solve. It's not to increase participation and access and all of that, representation. It's to fearmonger and to waste time. They are people technically, but they're just boulders in the way of progress. That's all it is, JR.
You know what else was said that's very obvious there, that they won't, that I think, well, it's taken, but it's not said because it would sound too bad. So these election ballot boxes or these drop-off locations could be blown up. Who would blow them up? You're talking about we need people to trust in the election system. Who are the people that don't trust in our election system? MAGA people don't trust in our election system. Trump people, which makes you the same type of folks. So you're saying your supporters are gonna blow up ballot boxes because they don't trust the system. Are you saying that that's a good thing or are you saying that's a bad thing? You didn't really specify, you just said people could blow them up. And we're insinuating that maybe that's a bad thing. So you don't agree with the people who would blow up those boxes because that's terrorism. And it's vandalism, it's destroying property, and it's disrupting an election. That's some serious things that they could be doing. Are you against that person? Is a Democrat that person? Because I thought Democrats are all about mailing off ballots and trying to usurp and cause fraud in our election system. Those same people that don't believe in our democratic system have been told not to believe in our democratic system by you. So if that does happen, now that you've insinuated, maybe you should go blow up an election box, ballot box, which no one had been talked about doing. Do you agree or disagree with that? Are those bad guys or those good guys? Are you a bad guy? Are you a supporter of terrorism? Do you want this to happen? All that is baked in that one or two stupid sentences from Marco Rubio, and they know it. They know it.
By the way, I'm gonna end by saying, I do think it's important for people to have confidence in the election system if the election system deserves you to be confident about it. And the way that we get that isn't by having right wingers clamp down on people's ability to vote as much as possible. We have that by sometimes needlessly investigating the results of elections, which they did in 2020. At the state level, at the federal level, there were tons of recounts and investigations in the DOJ and all of that. Isn't it a little bit suspicious that all of those investigations that shown that the election was not turned on voter fraud, that didn't increase their confidence? That's the only thing that could, and yet it didn't. Isn't that weird?
For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.